Hello everyone, we are doing the Eldritch, or Eldritch, however you prefer to pronounce that word, section of the devotion map today. Eldritch beings represent the wild forces of magic and the metaphysical realms beyond the veil. The Eldritch section is for your magey types, your warrior magey types, your demolitionists, and occultists. Characters that want to deal poison damage as well will get a lot out of the Eldritch tree. So we're going to start with the Acheron's Scorpion is offensive ability, poison damage, offensive ability, acid poison damage, and the ability Scorpion Sting. So Scorpion Sting is 25% chance on attack. You sort of have this eruption of spikes around you that deal poison damage. All in all, it's like a starter ability for the Eldritch section, just like Falcon Swoop is a starter for the Ascendant and Tsunami, and the Emperor starters for Primordial. It does okay damage. It's nothing like, oh man, that's crazy. But, you know, it'll be a good starter. It also gets you 5 whole points, so it's a 1-to-1 point investment. So, Eye of the Guardian is Ascendant Eldritch together. It gets you Acid Poison, Chaos Poison, Poison, and the ability Guardian's Gaze. And Guardian's Gaze, 15% chance on attack. You get this projectile that sort of swirls around you. It's not bad either. It's a kind of a starter ability. It's a tier 1 ability. You can actually get many of these around you, so it can actually deal some damage, especially if you're very chaos and poison based. Not a bad ability, all told. I'm sort of going to put a split right here, and everything above this is going to be definitely for the chaos stuff. But anyways, the Spider gets you Cunning and Spirit, offensive ability and Chaos Res, less damage from insectoids and arachnids, and an offensive and defensive ability, percent Cunning and percent Spirit, and then casting speed and 20% reduced attack speed retaliation for 3 seconds, and 20% movement speed retaliation for 3 seconds. The arachnid is pretty cool. The spider's pretty cool. For 5 points, you get 6 Eldritch, and it's actually some really nice little bonuses in here. It's really great if you want to get to, say, Ulzin's Torch in a hurry, or get down here in a hurry. Yeah, it's also really fun themed abilities as well, because the like retaliations are like spidery things, and it's like, I don't know anything else that has reduced damage from insectoids and arachnids in this game. So it's a really cool, like, flavorful constellation as well. So the Raven is Spirit for you, damage for your pets. Spirit and energy regen for you, damage for you, lightning damage for your pets, and then offensive ability for both you and your pets. This is definitely something where if you're heavily focusing on the familiar, you should probably pick it up. Regardless, if you need Eldritch requirements met, it's actually pretty good for that as well. These bonuses are nice, regardless of if you're using pets or not, and it's 4 points for 5 Eldritch, so really good little requirement meeting constellation, sort of like Sailor's Guide and the Eel. And speaking of which, Scholar's Light and the Hawk are great for that. Scholar's Light gets you fire damage, physique and elemental resistance, and then flat elemental damage, percent elemental damage, and energy regen. And it also gives you 4 points in Ascendant for a 3-point investment, which is really good. What was Ulzin's Torch is 15, so it's like 6, 10, 13. You're almost there. So yeah, Hawk, I usually go for this with pretty much every character, in all honesty, because it's just 3 points gets you offensive ability, crit damage, and percent offensive ability. It's also 3 Eldritch, which is a pretty nice, like, low point investment for some really nice stat bonuses. So we did that one. So let's do the Fox. The Fox is, again, like, all of these are your requirement meeting things for Eldritch. So the Fox gets you Cunning, bleed damage, Cunning and bleed resistance, and then more bleed damage. So if you're running a bleed character, you need Eldritch points, you can just pick up the Fox. It's a simple little 4-pointer, gives you 5 points in return. So Bysmiel's Bonds is offensive ability for you, damage for your pets, casting speed for you, total speed for your pets, Vitality res for both you and your pets. Damage for you, damage for your pets, health for your pets. And then the ability, Bysmiel's Command, will summon in an Eldritch Hound. And the Eldritch Hound is kind of the old model for your Hellhound. It is the current model, I think, for that guy in Eastmarsh. Only they're green for you, for the ones you summon up. The Stalwart Guardians, I think, are almost exactly the same thing, but kind of teal instead of green. You've seen the models in the game before. Yeah, it's a little additional guy that fights beside your side. Beside your side. I just said that. Anyway, it deals physical and acid damage, so it's kind of a weird damage thing for a pet to have. But I mean, I know there's an item that actually gives bonus poison acid damage to your pets. So yeah, that is Bysmiel's Bonds. So the Manticore is still good, but it used to be really good. The Manticore is, Ascendant Eldritch. So we got offensive ability, poison acid damage, health, offensive ability and poison acid resistance, poison acid damage, and then the acid spray ability. And the acid spray ability was like super omega top tier. Now it's just good. It deals acid poison damage, reduces the target's armor, reduces the target's resistances. They really took away the resistance reduction on this. But if you're doing a poison acid build, I would still recommend it. It also is helpful for reducing armor for you to get more physical damage in there. So, moving over here, there are two Eldritch things that require you to have 10 points. The first is Oaklane's Lantern. And Oaklane's Lantern is pretty much like a supercaster constellation. You have energy regen, offensive ability, crit damage and offensive ability, all damage and reduced entrapment duration, and then energy regen with attack speed and casting speed. They should just make that total speed, in all honesty, in my opinion. But you take what you can get. If you're a warrior mage, the attack speed is great. If you're just a mage, the casting speed is great. This also gives you 2 points into law, which means you can unlock the law section if you want to get defensive after picking this up. So the Magi is also another 10-point requirement for Eldritch, and it gives you fire and burn damage, elemental res, fire res, flat fire damage, percent fire damage, burn damage, casting speed, burn damage, and the ability Fissure, which is 15% on chance on attack. You sort of create these little volcanoes that spew fire everywhere, and it's a pretty fun little ability. And it also gives you 3 more Eldritch, so you can go deeper into this section if you really want to. If you're making a fire damage character, I would recommend this ability on like your spamming ability, unless you really want Olzen's Torch on it. So, also we have... we're going to do these 3 next, I think. So, Affliction is Vitality Poison, Spirit and Vitality Decay Retaliation, which is very unique. The Fetid Pool, 33% chance when hit. I believe this puts a little, like, poison pool around you. I've never gone for the ability. That deals Vitality Poison damage. Then we've got Vitality damage with Poison Res, offensive defensive ability, Poison Acid, or Acid and Vitality damage. It's weird. And offensive ability, and then crit damage and Vitality Decay Retaliation. So this one also requires you to go Ascendant Chaos Eldritch. Yeah, it's a weird one, but if you're doing poison vitality damage, poison or vitality damage, it works out. So, I did the Huntress. Did I? No, I didn't. So these 3 are sort of well, this one isn't really a 3rd tier, but the Huntress does, it requires Ascendant Chaos Eldritch, like Affliction, and then you have offensive ability, pierce damage, bleed damage, offensive ability for you and your pets, and then the ability Rend, 20% chance on attack, bleed damage, and then reduces the bleed res and offensive ability on the target. If you're doing, I would like a weird range bleed damage. I don't even know. It'd be a bleed damage related thing. Probably not a bad ability, but it kind of has some weird requirements, in all honesty. So, Mogdragon the Wolf is a pet 3rd tier mastery type of thing. So, offensive ability for you and your pets. Bleed damage for you, all damage for your pets. Vitality res for you, total speed for your pets. Bleed damage for you. Elemental and bleed res for you, maximum bleed res for you, damage for your pets, a lot of damage for your pets. And then the Howl of Mogdragon ability. You get more bleed damage, you reduce the target's defensive ability, and you gain more attack speed when this procs. And then your pets gain offensive ability and total speed. Heavy investment to get in here, but if you're doing a pet build and you're a bleed character, I should say if you're doing a pet build and or you're a bleed character, Mogdragon the Wolf might be worth going for. Incidentally, I do have a character named Blood Wolf, the Bleeding Blade Master, who might go for this, just for theming. So, the Blind Sage is another Ascendant Eldritch Mastery thing. Requires a lot to get in here, though. 18 is insanity when it's paired with a 10. That being said, you could probably just do Owl and Harpy, and then get your 18 mostly through these 4. So, it gives you Spirit and Offensive ability, a lot of elemental damage and offensive ability, crit damage and skill disruption protection, cold damage, frostburn damage, cold res, lightning damage, electrocute damage, lightning resistance, and fire damage, burn damage, fire res. So if you do have points to invest in this, you can actually get a lot of elemental related things, in addition to having the elemental seeker ability. 100% chance on attack, you summon these like little will-o'-the-wisp things that deal elemental damage to stuff. I believe at the end of their 5-second lifespan is when they do their detonate. I've kind of wanted to build a character that uses this. I just haven't had the need to go this deep into both Ascendant and Eldritch, then pick the ability up. I've used the ability before, and it's pretty cool. Leveled up, it could be really amazing. Okay, so we got 2 more to look at for Eldritch. Well, let's do that as well. So, Solael's Witchblade is chaos damage, spirit and offensive ability, energy burn, and chaos damage, fire and chaos damage with some fire res, and then the ability called Eldritch Fire, which is chaos fire damage, and reduces the movement speed and fire chaos resistance against enemies. Really solid if you're doing fire chaos damage, one or the other, because resistance reduction is awesome. This is kind of like the Widow, just a really solid ability to add into a chaos fire character. Sort of like how the Widow is solid for Aether or Lightning characters. Yeah, fire or chaos characters will love that one. The Berserker is for axes, so if you have an axe and you want these benefits, go for the Berserker. Offensive ability, pierce resistance, and reduction to bleed damage. More bleed damage and some health steal. Crit damage, chance of bleed damage, physical damage, and offensive ability. I don't think there's anything lower. Yeah, it's sort of along the lines of Blades of Nadon and Rowan's Scepter. And I'd even say Oaklane's Lantern, where it has a weapon requirement and then gives you a small set of bonuses for those things. Incidentally, if you're doing Eldritch Ascendant, it will unlock Chaos for you. Finally, we're going to look at the Abomination, which is another 3rd tier. Very weird constellation. So you have Chaos and Poison, and then Acid Vitality, and an offensive ability Poison Res, max Poison Acid Res. And then it kind of splits. So this is the poison side, and this is the Chaos side. The poison side gives you more poison damage, some health, and offensive ability. Then poison acid damage, and then the ability Tainted Eruption. 15% chance on attack. You do this giant, almost full screen poison nova that hits for a lot of poison damage and has a chance to confuse. The other side gives you chaos, health, and offensive ability. And then Abominable Might, so 100% chance on enemy death. You get bonus flat percent chaos damage, conversion of chaos damage, and health. Kind of a weird little ability in there, but pretty cool. So that will cover, I think, all of the Eldritch stuff. We're going to finally finish off this set of videos by going into the Chaos stuff and up into those 2 things next time. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys then.